Hey, Lorna Byrne, it is so great to see you live across the ocean.
Well, I'm absolutely thrilled to see you. And you said you were in Orlando, was it?
I'm in Orlando, Florida with Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. I'm dying for my grandson to see Mickey Mouse one of these days.
Oh, well, just let us know in advance when you're coming. We will roll out the
Oh,
red
indeed.
carpet.
I will.
Well, as viewers undoubtedly know right now, we are hosting this free 30-minute question and answer webinar as we ramp up the excitement and anticipation for our joint event in Dublin just a few weeks away, August 28th. Lorna and I will be doing an entire day-long workshop covering the most exciting topics, and I truly mean that: purpose and role in life, dealing and maximizing old and finding new relationships, whichever may be appropriate to the audience member. Money, spiritual or not. Setbacks, how to deal with the adversities of life when they're kind of rocking you about. How to follow your heart and live your dreams on every front. And then, of course, we will be talking about grief, dealing with the loss of loved ones, because that's something that every life encounters, and it's probably as thorny a patch as imaginable. So that's what's coming up on August 28th. Details are at my website, Lorna's website. But for now, Lorna, we've only got 30 minutes. I can't wait to, I'm going to skip introductions. If you don't know Lorna Byrne, please Google her. She is world-renowned angel expert, and she's been born with the gift of physically being able to see angels with her eyes. And of course, she communicates with them, gets messages from them for other people and herself and the world. I'm a certified public accountant, turned speaker author the past 15 years, helping people live the life of their dreams. So my website is tut.com. You can Google Mike Dooley. So Lorna, anything you'd like to add before we get started? Any clarifications or precursors?
I suppose maybe it is again the event on the 28th of August here in Dublin, you know, in the Talbot Hotel in Stologan. To me, that's very important because, you know, for so many years now, people have been asking me, why don't I do a day-long event? You know, so now I'm doing it, and I'm expecting it to be packed full, and the angels are just telling me, you know, I know you named off a list of things there, but they are saying it will be very intriguing, it will be very exciting, and everybody will have a great time, a wonderful time. And I think that's what the angels are about, is helping us to feel better as well. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
And I know that Lorna and I agree that life is not just a gift, but it is to be enjoyed, it is to be loved, it is to be lived to the fullest. And I like to point out that I really don't believe we're here to be selfless. I think we must weigh our heart and our desires and look for our space in life. That's how we shine our light the brightest and make the biggest impact. So this day together will be all about shining your light, being your best self, so that the whole world is enriched even further. So are you ready for the first question, Lorna?
I am indeed.
Okay, very practical. What are some techniques I can use to start seeing and hearing my angels clearly?
What I would say to that person and everyone out there is, maybe the first thing one should remember is that already your guardian angel is in communication with yourself, and it is for you to start to really believe. And I would say to people as well, you know, so many adults doubt where children don't, and one of the simplest communications is actually to ask for a sign. But I would say to ask for that sign over and over again and again, every day. It's like every morning you wake up, you say to yourself, I'm going to ask my guardian angel for a sign today. I'm going to ask, you know, for a flower or a butterfly, depending on the time of year, to fly around you, or for a feather. But keep on asking, because lots of people would say, I never get the sign. But you do. You get it hundreds of times over and over again. It's just that you don't recognize it. So in asking every morning helps to remind you to be open spiritually, to recognize, oh, there's a feather on the floor. And where I work, I have never all these years seen a feather on the floor. You know, it's for you spiritually as well as humanly to, I know some people use the word cop it, you know, see it, to recognize it. And then just smile. You don't even have to go over and pick it up or anything like that. Just smile to yourself and just say thank you, and allow yourself to know that your guardian angel is in communication with you, because I think that's where people let themselves down. They don't realize that your guardian angel is already in communication with you every single day. I can't hear you.
Thank you, Lorna. And as you've pointed out, that our guardian angel is inseparable from us. So there's not a word or a thought that goes through our minds or mouths that they're not heard. For those of you watching right now, just tuning in, there's a Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. Presumably you can click that. Already questions are coming in. And some of you took our advice and sent questions in early. So I'm going to go to those first. The next question, Lorna, is when we pray, who hears us? Our angels, our loved ones who have passed away, some other entity? Is there like a pecking order?
I love that question, because the angels in the room here now some of them are sitting on the chairs here. This is a long table. I'm in an office and they're just kind of making this laugh and just doing this. So it's a beautiful question. And the thing is, when you pray, God hears it even before that thought of prayer comes into your mind. But so do all of the angels, because they pray with you as well. And of course your loved ones do, those that have died and gone ahead of you. So your prayer is heard instantly. And your soul hears your prayer, because your soul, your prayer comes from your soul as well. You know, it's kind of spiritually, in a sense, magnified. And then you have the angels of prayer. I think we have to remember, you never pray alone, never. So your prayers are heard by all those, and even those that you may not even cross your mind. Here's your prayer as well.
Okay, excellent. So the next question, is there an angel of love? And I think the questioner is asking about romance. How can I use this romance angel to better my life, or love angel to better their life?
I love that question as well. The romantic angels, that's what I call them. They are very, very beautiful. They're dressed from head to toe, and they always carry a golden thread. And it can be anywhere on them as such. And when you ask for a romantic angel, as I call them, they're instantly there with you, by your side. But most of the time, a romantic angel doesn't work on its own, because, how would I say, when they see an attraction between a man and a woman, or even a shyness, they do their best to bring that together, or even for love to grow more so. And I would see them put that golden thread sometimes around a person's wrist and then around their partner's wrist, or sometimes it's waist level. It can be anywhere around you, and they join it together to help that romantic love grow. But sometimes, what would I say, the man or the woman, you know, they expect the other person, that they're not sure whether they're falling in love with them. They're not giving themselves a chance, and they're kind of judging instead of saying, no one is perfect and neither am I. Let's give this a chance. Love is so important to give it a go. That's what, even if it only lasts a week or 6 weeks or 6 years or a few months, love is precious, and romantic love is very, very precious. So whoever sent that question in, yes, go and ask for a romantic angel, and whatever thought they put into your mind at times, respond to it. Put your shyness in your bag or leave it behind you.
Beautiful.
I would say to them, and take that chance, take that risk. It's worth it.
Wow, great advice. Now, can we pick the wrong person?
You can, that can happen, but sometimes we actually think we have picked the wrong person, and we kind of, walk away in that way, and we say, oh no, because I don't like this or that about that person. But you would know over a period of time, but still I would say give it a chance, because just to share something, and I know this is questions and answers, but with my husband Joe, even though Angel Elijah had told me, and showed me the young man I would marry, and I was only 10 at the time. But the day I saw him coming to the garage to get work, I was rejecting him. And I was rejecting him because I was afraid. We long for love, we want it, but we're nervous and afraid of it because we don't want to get hurt. But
Yeah, very good.
It's worth it.
Okay, I second that. I've got to ask, is there a money angel? Just there's abundance on every level of friends, of clarity, but let's just talk money. Is there a money angel?
I think that is, again, another lovely question, and I love the idea of a money angel. There's no particular angel that I have come across in that way, that I could say is a money angel, but I would see angels around people that would be stressed and about financial things. And I would see an angel or the guardian angel telling a person, whispering to them, and I would be allowed to hear the words, fix yourself up, go and try for that job, or they would be, I remember being in a cafe and a guardian angel saying to a young lady that was wanting to buy something, and her guardian angel was telling her, you can't afford that, don't get it. Mm-hmm. And again, that is what you have said, an angel to help us with money. Your guardian angel helps you all of the time that way, and your guardian angel brings in other angels to help us that way as well. But sometimes our ego won't listen. Sometimes we push it aside.
Okay, very good. Excuse me. This question says, I get little signs before we have a death in our family. Is one of my angels giving me these signs?
Yes, I would say to her, yes. And, I know the first question was about connecting with your angel, feeling the presence, recognizing those signs. And this is a sign that this person has recognized. And I'm sure the same angel or other angels that her guardian angel has around her at different times gives her signs for other parts of her life, for other decisions that they need to make. So it's kind of say to herself, or if it's a man, I'm going to do my best to recognize the same way as I do recognize when someone is going to die in my family. Okay?
Okay, thank you. I have been unemployed for a long time. How can I communicate with my angels to help me find a job?
I would say to you, and I know I hear from loads of people asking that same question, I would say, first of all, pray about it. Listen to your guardian angel and say to yourself, you want a job. lots of the times the guardian angels would show me and tell me that this person is looking for a job, but they're not really doing anything about it. It's like sometimes you're looking for love, but you're still in the room and you haven't gone out the door. But a lot of times people are looking for a job and they're looking for their dream job. And the dream job, in a sense, hasn't come yet. So they're meant to take whatever job they can get. It's like a stepping stone.
Right.
Like you started to write, you said 15 years ago.
Yeah, it was not the life of my dreams, I'll tell you that. It was.
Yeah, you know, so that's what people have to remember. We're on a journey, we're on a road, and it is full of stepping stones, and it's full of turns, and it's which way you want to go. So if someone is out there looking for a job and they just want a particular kind of job, and it's not coming up at the moment, your guardian angel is probably giving you loads of signs of other ways to go. Or as well, you know, your guardian angel uses signs through other people as well, because the angels communicate that way as well, to give you a message saying, you know, well, you should try this instead, or you should educate yourself a little bit more in order to get that other job.
Right. I have a question based on your answer there. The first thing you said was to suggest prayer.
Okay.
And prior to meeting you and learning so much, reading your books about the angel realm, you know, I was always praying to God, the universe, divine intelligence. And now that I'm aware of the angels, they get a lot of that conversation instead of God. Is there an ideal way to approach knowing where to direct your prayers?
I think for me personally, I direct my prayers to God, but I'm very, very conscious that every prayer I direct in that direction, the angels are praying with me as well at the same time, and so are souls of loved ones. And I suppose it's in a sense, you know, prayer is so powerful, and people have forgotten how powerful it is. But it's like, you know, the floor won't sweep itself. So you pray and you sweep the floor as well.
Excellent. Okay. Another question somebody just typed in on the chat session, and I do have the Q&A session, so both will be read from. This is back to romance. Is there out there the one for each person alive? Or is that one somebody we decide to share our love with? Does God have a special person for each of us?
That's another good, beautiful question. And I have to answer it this way, like that is, you're kind of saying, you know, my soulmate in that way, my soulmate in love. So I'm just smiling at this now. Everyone who has read my books always believed that Joe was my soulmate, but he wasn't, you know, and I knew that, but God had said he would be the man I would marry, but I was told as well that he wasn't my soulmate as such. We pass over love because we think, you know, it must be only my soulmate I have to fall in love with. Not all of us meet our soulmate. And sometimes your soulmate may not be here, may not even have been born, could be the far side of the world, or could be someone that is Down syndrome, or, you know, in that way. So I love the question. And I can't say that there is a particular person appointed, because if I said that, I would be lying to you. I'll have to ask God more questions on that.
Well, I think you answered it greatly, and just incidentally, it's the same answer that I have intuitively and logically come up with for my audiences, and everything I share originates based on my life. And I would put it this way, that at different points in our lives, there may well be a perfect person for you. And in that sense, it could be that our soulmate or the person who best complements us will show up, but it might not be that person for a lifetime. They may be a friend, they may be a best friend, it might be a love interest, it might not be. And if you are looking for the one, there's no destiny. We all have free will. We all grow and expand at different rates. We all move into the light faster and faster. So the person who is in the dark, kind of angry, kind of stubbing their toes, might be better brought out of that light by a certain person. But if that person that was in the dark is now in the light because of internal work they did, angel work they did, now somebody else is going to be a better match for them. And this is not about rejection, and this is not about going in and out of relationships. I think we all hope, I hope, that my marriage right now is a lifetime marriage. But I'm certainly open to the fact that that nothing's destined, and I will have to deal with it one day at a time. And we have so much in common, Lorna. Thank you for your answer there.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, somebody asked, why is it that you and some people see angels or experience profound visions and others do not, Lorna?
Well, I don't know why God chose me to see angels physically, as I even see my daughter sitting here beside me, and her guardian angel and the other angels in this room. I always remember a nun asked me that question, and I remember a rabbi asked me the same question as well, you know, saying, I just had to smile because they both said, you know, we pray so much, you know, and yet God has never allowed them to have a spiritual experience. So I don't really know. You know, I think it depends on the person as well. You know, sometimes the most spiritual person can be the beggar in the street. They could be more open than everyone else. And again, it's because in one way, they're even though we might call them the beggar in the street, but they're enjoying life.
Mm.
Even if at times they're cold, but it's kind of, you know, they're connected that wee bit more.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why, but yet children see angels, very young children only born. And sometimes, you know, the elderly will see an angel or see the soul of a loved one. And it's usually when it gets closer to the time when they're going to pass.
Mm.
You know, so it happens all of the time. Sometimes, you know, somebody could be in a horrific accident, or there could be just even an earthquake, and somebody out of the millions of people, you know, you will probably find a few had a spiritual experience during that and survived. And a lot of those experiences are shared between family, friends, you know, people get to know of it. But in a sense, a lot of people keep it to themselves because it's very personal and very precious.
Yeah. I would also add that while there's a lot of things we don't know the answer to, you know, I mean, from altered minds, altered states, telekinesis, angels, ghosts, aliens, rarely, if ever, do those issues impinge, you know, or not having the answers impinge on our ability to find happiness and live a great life right now. So it's great to speculate, and Lorna's the person to ask that question too. But if it doesn't happen for you and you wish it did, that's not going to stop anybody from doing what they came to Earth to do, and that is to love,
Exactly.
and rock and roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a question that is good. Do our angels, you touched on this, already know what we want, or is it important that we directly ask them for it in clear terms?
And they already know before time, before you even think of it. They know what you want, but that doesn't mean that that is good for you. So I always say, if there is something you want, you know, ask for the help to see, can you achieve that, or can you accomplish that, or can, you know, it, like I remember meeting a young man there, and he says, I want to be an artist, I want to be a famous painter. And, I was told to say to him, yes, go ahead and be an artist. Do it because you enjoy it. But as well, I was told to say to him, don't give up the job you have as well.
Wow.
He is an artist. He loves to, 10 years have passed, but he's not a famous artist. But he loves doing his work and selling the odd painting he sells. And that is really what your question is about.
Yeah.
You ask and you discover, the things you love to do. And if you don't try something, you will never know you love to do it. And sometimes you need to try something more than once to realize, wow, I actually become relaxed and at peace, and I become open. And again, it is, lots of artists, of years ago, there's a lot of spirituality within their paintings if you only look at them. I remember my publisher bringing me into a museum, and he said, Lorna, no one ever said before that angels' feet don't touch the ground. And I said, no, they don't. There's this cushion. They never do. And he loves art. So he was in this museum in London, one of the famous ones. And there, what did you think he saw? I don't know whether it was Mussolini or whoever it was. But in one of his paintings, he drew the angel, but the angel's feet weren't touching the ground. People had missed this probably for donkeys.
Wow.
So it is to do the things you love, but sometimes you have to work at something else as well.
When somebody passes away, do they become an angel?
No, I always love that question, and the angels love it too, because it's something that lots of us will say, especially when a child dies, or our grandparents or our mother will say, they're an angel now in heaven. But you and I, because we have a soul, that's that speck of light of God, that spark, we are billions of times more than any angel could ever be. And I used to feel embarrassed saying that, at first.
Yeah.
Because I would say to myself, oh, am I hurting you? And I would be talking to the angels, and they would say, no, Lorna, you must tell the truth. You must say what God has told you to say. So,
Wow.
and that has brought a lot of comfort to people around the world as well. It's an expression of love we use, saying our loved one is an angel in heaven, and the angels love us saying that.
Mm-hmm. Powerful. Well, the last question is a synthesis of a couple of questions I've heard, and because I am a first-time dad with a 2-year-old, I can't imagine what it is like for a parent to lose a child. And they basically, in a general answer, if one exists, they want to know why. Is their child okay? How do they get their head around the fact that they've lost a little baby or any aged child?
It's very hard for a parent to get their head around that they have lost their child, that their child has got sick, or their child was killed in a car crash, or something had happened. And it's really such a touching topic, because at the moment I've been talking to a mother and father, the family whose little girl is not going to reach 2, and they love her so much. But this little child has come and chose mom and dad and this beautiful family just to love her for this period of time. And when that little child goes, it'll actually go happily. It's so hard to express in a human way, but those that have gone before this child, that family, the souls of that family will be there.
Yeah.
And the guardian angel will hold that infant, that little girl, in its arms so gently. And God will have that the soul of that little infant on its knee. It's like it's like transcendent. It's from one life to another, you know, instantly. It's so calm and so at peace, and a lot of us don't understand that. You know, I have met many children and adults that have said, it's not hurting me that I'm dying anymore. I have accepted it. I have let go. It's my family. It's us left behind.
Yeah.
Because I have given out to to God millions of times why my husband Joe had to go so young, why he had to leave me with young teenagers and a 4-year-old. You know, so I understand how that tears people inside. It is really, really hard.
And
So
I always, excuse me?
You will meet them one day when it's your time.
Yeah. Well, I've always felt and shared with audiences that it's not the duration of a lifetime, nor how or why the final moments came that characterize all that was so good and beautiful. And I think that's what you were saying. And I think, Lorna, neither one of us believe in accidents. So that something like this comes to pass, we have to nod that there was some kind of order, some kind of perfection, some kind of grace. There was meaning to it. Whether or not we can see it is absolutely irrelevant. And the loved ones of any age that have passed, that have left us behind, we can rest assured they're in a most beautiful, beautiful place, surrounded in love, and that objectives are being met that we'll understand later. Do you agree?
I agree, definitely. There's no doubt about that. Your loved one, you will meet them again. And we have to remember we're born to live, but we're born to die as well. And sometimes that lifespan can be so short, and for others it can be so long. And it's something we don't understand. But the important thing is the love that you shared with that person, the laughter, the joy, you know, the life you shared with them, whether you only knew them for a short time or for a long time.
Yeah. Well, Lorna, this was powerful, exactly as I expected it to be. And I'm happy to tell you that the recording of this video will be available for all to see beyond today. We'll put it on our respective Facebook pages, websites. There will be another free 30-minute presentation by Lorna and I on August 23rd. I believe that's next Tuesday, same exact time. And we're going to direct this one a little bit more to dealing with setbacks and relationships, purpose, things that the workshop will be about on August 28th. So thank you everyone for participating. Lorna, you're an angel among us, but even more beautiful and more amazing.
I'm shy.
As you share.
Thank you.
So, any final words?
Well, I'm really excited about the 28th of August and doing this workshop with you for the whole day. But I ask for as many blessings for all of those that have listened and all of those that will listen into this webinar as well later on over the months or whatever. So thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody.
Thank you all, and we look forward to seeing you hearing another webinar on August 23rd, same time, and then the ultimate meeting. Good night, everybody. Farewell. Tally ho.